Let's look at an example to cover the process of collating income in a tax year and determining the tax payable amount for an individual. For the tax year 23-24, Joe has a salary of £47,700, savings income of £2,000, and dividend income of £6,000. During the year, he paid interest of £300, which was for a qualifying purpose. Joe's employer deducted income tax of £7,026 under pay-as-you-earn from his earnings. The first step is to create the income tax computation and include all three categories in it, as Joe has sources of income that cover all three. We then list down the amounts to be taxed from each source and work out the total income in all columns. So we arrive at £47,700 in non-savings income, £2,000 in savings income, and £6,000 in dividend income. We next make the adjustment for qualifying interest paid against the non-savings income, and also deduct the personal allowance amount. Since the income of the individual is well below the £100,000 cut-off point, there will be no reduction in the personal allowance, and the entire £12,570 is adjusted against the non-savings income first. The taxable income amounts to £34,830 under non-savings income, £2,000 in savings income, and £6,000 in dividend income. Based on the total taxable income amount of the individual, which is £42,830, we can gauge that Joe is going to be a high-rate taxpayer. This means that he will be entitled to a nil-rate band of £500 on savings income and £1,000 on dividend income. So we start with the taxation of the income, and just for reference purposes, I've included a basic rate band availability column. The taxable non-savings income of £34,830 falls completely within the basic rate band and is taxed at 20%, giving rise to a tax charge of £6,966. The basic rate band original capacity of £37,700 is now reduced by £34,830, and the remaining available band is £2,870. The savings income taxable amount of £2,000 falls entirely in the basic rate band. But since the first £5,000 of the basic rate band have been used up by non-savings income, the starting rate is not available on the savings income amount. However, because Joe is a high-rate taxpayer, the first £500 of his savings income will now be covered by the nil rate band and will be taxed at zero. The balancing £1,500 is taxed at 20%, leading to a tax charge of £300. Post this calculation, when we assess how much of the basic rate band capacity is unutilized, we work out that the basic rate band can still accept £870 of taxable income. So we will now turn to dividend income. The dividend income amount is £6,000 in total, which is more than the basic rate band capacity. Logically, this means that £870 of the £6,000 will fall in the basic rate band and the excess will be taken to the higher rate band. But let's not forget that dividend income also has a £1,000 nil rate band. So the first £1,000 of the dividend income amount will be taxed at zero. This means that £870 of the basic rate band will be covered by the nil rate band of dividend income, and the balancing nil rate band amount from the £1,000 will spill over to the high rate band but still be taxed at zero. From the £6,000 taxable dividend income, since £1,000 is covered by the nil rate band, the balancing amount of £5,000 will now be taxed at the higher rate of 33.75%, and tax charge of £1,688 will arise. The total tax liability for Joe for the tax year amounts to £8,954. Since Joe had already paid £7,026 to HMRC under the pay-as-you-earn scheme, he will adjust that amount against the liability of £8,954 to work out what actually needs to be paid. The tax payable amount comes to £1,928, and this needs to be handed over to the tax authorities. Of course, if Joe did not have any tax already deducted at source, then he would be required to hand over the entire £8,954 to HMRC. In terms of how this knowledge is tested in the exam, bear in mind that tax calculation is the fundamental knowledge of the tax paper, so it's a highly examinable concept. The tax calculation can be tested as an objective type question, but if it comes up in section C, then you can score easy marks. One common issue that the tax examination team raises is that students do not answer to the requirement. This doesn't always mean that the students fall short of answering the requirement, but that in certain cases they exceed the requirement. For example, if the requirement is to determine tax liability, then you do not need to adjust the tax deducted at source. While the move from tax liability to tax payable is not a complicated working, but sometimes candidates proceed with the tax calculation even though the requirement was to only determine the taxable amount. In this case, candidates waste precious time. So it's about developing your focus on what is required only.